Well, good evening, everyone. It is great to see you guys coming online, and great to see family folk that I know, part of the church, and then seeing others that maybe I don't know. Well, what I want you to do is to let everybody know that we are on Monday Night Live, and tonight we're going to be talking about exploring summer activities. We're going to be talking about things that you and your family can do, and you can to do this summer, that begin in the summer and go on through the winter, go on throughout all the year, so that you can begin to experience a wonderful time right right here in Alabama and very close to home. So I'm looking forward to sharing with you tonight. So I want you to go ahead and let people know about what's going on, so that we're on tonight talking about summer activities. And let's think about it. In March last year, 2020, the World Health Organization declared that the coronavirus, or better known as we talk about COVID 19, was indeed a pandemic disease. And as we all know, this virus impacted the lives of all of us. There was an increase in the number of people working from home as a result, and many people lost their jobs due to downsizing and closing of businesses. And during certain periods of the previous and current year, we were mandated to wear masks. I'm looking for my mask right now. Maybe I should have my mask on because I'm talking to you, since I'm talking to a whole lot more of you all. But we had to wear masks in public places. And we learned the real meaning of social distancing and quarantining. Family gatherings were even discouraged to prevent the spread of the virus. And many of our social activities were curtailed. And although we are still in a pandemic, and what I'm doing right now is, as a result of the pandemic and making adjustments, I have learned to do some new things, and I've learned to study a different way, especially the Word of God. And also, because I want to be more involved in community, to do what we're doing tonight, to help you learn how to experience a better joy in life by knowing some wonderful things that you can do that are family oriented, that you can take your family to. And so, although we're still in that pandemic, some of the restrictions have been lifted, but we're still going to proceed with caution, and especially in the church, for those of you at Guiding Light Church. But we're going to let you know about that as we go along through the month of August and see. But we've been dealing with wearing masks or not wearing masks, vaccine or no vaccine. A lot of churches are slowly opening, some didn't even close, and just, I guess, different measures of faith and different things that people believe. And some people are still working at home, some are going to the office. We've had a very interesting year so far. But I want us to recognize we all need some rest and relaxation. Considering what we've been through, wouldn't you agree? We just need a break. So as we return to some form of normalcy, we decided to search our community and state to determine what type of programs, activities, and events are available for our enjoyment, especially for our children, and for fun and wholesome activities that the family can enjoy. You see, vacations are one of the things, and we're going to show you some place where you might go vacation. We're going to talk about some things you might be able to do, even right here at home, and possibly from the computer. And our first guest is going to come up and talk about some things that might be done by a few people, but folk like me, I don't think I can handle it. But we're going to talk to them and we're going to see. And we know that people who take time off and take vacations have lower stress, lower risk of heart disease, and a better outlook on life, and are more motivated to achieve goals. And we're going to talk about some of those places. And we're also going to be talking about tonight, with my first guest getting ready to come on, learning the importance of exercise and gymnastics for the body. And an important health benefit is that gymnastics promotes better body conditioning and toning. Now, I'm going to be talking about it, but I am one that's going to be looking at it like, really? But when the two guests I have tonight are going to share with you, they're going to show you that how you can increase your body's flexibility, balance, and coordination. And they're going to do it with kids and young folk. And you'll find out how just a little activity can do a lot for you. And practicing gymnastics regularly can curb unhealthy appetites and cravings. And gymnastics is great for toddlers and children, I think most of all. But when I bring our two guests on, I think they might say that it's good for a lot of other folk. Well, when you get to be my age, I don't know if it's good for somebody like me, but we're going to find out. And so our guests tonight that I want to bring on with us are part of what's called Ingrid's Gymnastics. And we're going to talk to her sister that put this business together. And we're going to talk to her about how she has done this and what she does with children and all and I guess adults. I don't know. I'm scared, but she was born in Santiago, Chile, and she was a rhythmic gymnast on the national team there. And she's been coaching gymnastics for more than 35 years. She said the gymnastics are her life, and she loves it. It's it's something, y'all. I've looked at it, studied it a whole lot, and it ain't for everybody. But it looks like it's her life. She loves it. And she has her own gym right there in Eastlake, not very far from the church. And she has teams that have won several Alabama USA Gymnastics state meets. And she teaches boys and girls as early as 2 and 3. Those are babies, but we're going to hear from her in a minute. And then Gabriella, her daughter, Gabriella Fowl is her daughter, and she's been coaching gymnastics since she was 16 years old. And she started gymnastics at an early age. So, what I want to do right now is bring two wonderful sisters on board with me right now. And that's Gabriella and Ingrid Fowl. And they are Ingrid's Gymnastics. How are you all doing, sisters?
Oh, wonderful. Thank you for having
Yes,
us.
thank you. We're so excited to be talking to you today.
Well, I'm glad to have you all on. And I don't know anything about gymnastics. So, and then I didn't do it when I was a kid. I did not. I hated gym. I didn't. I just don't know nothing about it. What is it when we talk about gymnastics? Share something with me about that for a moment, if you would.
Well,
Okay.
I'll answer. Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Gymnastics has a lot of different definitions.
Mhm.
There's multiple different types. The kind that we do is called artistic gymnastics. That's the one with the bars, the beam, the floor, and the vault. There's also rhythmic gymnastics, like you mentioned earlier, and that's what my mom did when she was in Chile. Um, there's different types, but we focus mainly on artistic gymnastics. So
And what does that mean, artistic? Well, meaning
that
what?
it's just the name
The
that
discipline.
describes
Yeah.
beam, bars, vault, and floor. So
So you do it kind of when you say artistically, it's a nice form. It looks good, or it's not just.
exactly.
Yeah.
Oh,
There are other disciplines too, so that's this one is just defined like artistic gymnastics. So
Yeah, we also
uh,
do men's gymnastics as well, and we've just started our men's competitive team for the first time. So we're really excited about them as well.
wow. So now I remember first time seeing it. It was some girl a few years ago. I think it was in the '90s. Olga somebody. Do you remember? Uh, does that name ring a bell? Olga somebody from
Uh,
what's she
Olga, yeah. Oh,
from
long
Russia? What?
very long time ago. Maybe
Yeah.
Nadia Comaneci. That was she was my age. So
Oh, really? Because I remember the first time I ever saw she was bouncing around and it just I was just awed by the way she did all this hard stuff and made it look like she was having fun.
mhm.
Um, and but I'm sure that some of these things y'all do when y'all do it, it just doesn't look like fun. But she made it look like fun. And
Right.
then this girl today, the young the the other black girl now that's doing awesome.
Simone
Uh,
Biles.
yeah, yeah,
Simone.
and
Yeah.
Simone, and they just
I
bounce
think
around.
yes,
Is that artistic too?
yes,
Yes,
that's
all of
artistic
that.
gymnastics. Yes.
Part of what makes gymnastics so good and amazing is that when you do it right, it looks easy. When you do it wrong, it looks extremely hard.
But it takes a
It
long
takes a long
time to
time.
get it right.
Yeah,
A lot of practice, a lot of hours, a lot of pains, a lot of
sacrifice. Yeah.
and be very, very organized in your studies. You
Time
have
management.
Yeah, time management. It teach the kids, especially young age kids, to manage their time, to do their homework, to do their gymnastics, to eat well, to go to school. They train many hours, so they need to learn how to manage their time. So it's a lot
Mhm.
of discipline in these kids.
But fun at the same
A
time.
lot of fun.
Yeah, discipline and fun.
And
It
they're very much
looks
kids.
it,
They
it
learn
looks
to be.
serious to me. I mean, it looks like something not anybody can do this. Now I'm a grown man, so there's no hope for me in
No.
gymnastics. No, no.
No.
So you have to start at a young age to be able to do this, I suppose.
Hmm.
So this would be good for our kids then, as activities. And I think you said starting as young as was it two?
Yeah. We start with mommy and me class. It's called koalas. So the mom or the dad or the grandma can come with the kid and walk with them. That way they are not running all over the place, and the teacher is telling them how to um, spot their own kid, or if they can't, we spot them. So
Hmm.
we learn. Be sure that they're doing it right, because if they're home, they can do and they can get hurt. But when they're at the gym, we are protected with mats, with equipment that is just right for their age. So uh, we are very careful, especially because I have a lot of kids of my own. I have 4 daughters, so I always take any little baby. It's like my own. So I'm
Hmm.
very protected about everything. So um, we try our best to teach the parents and then to teach the kids the discipline of gymnastics.
Well, how would you know that a kid is it just a choice that parents make? You're going to take gymnastics, or do you see something special in a child?
It depends. Sometimes most of our people are gymnasts come in by their own choice. The parents want to get them out of the house, so this is a great place. But sometimes we can spot those kids who are really good, and we try to put them into our competitive program as soon as possible. But we welcome anybody who wants to take gymnastics, as long as they're in the right age frame.
And what is that age range?
Right now,
The
2.
youngest one
Yeah.
in the competitive team is 4 years old. So, but the youngest one we have here, I think he's almost 2. He's just turning 2.
And our oldest girl is 16. No, 18 actually. We
18.
have an
She turned
18-year-old here. Yes, 2
Oh,
to 18 is our age range.
2 to 18. Well, there's no way that I can actually become
No.
involved in that. I am so far removed from
Want
that.
to be you? That would be too bad.
So I can't do it. So everybody that's out there, if you're over 18, then they're saying you can't do it. But let's look at some of this stuff. I think we got here's a picture here. Tell me, describe what, when we look at this. Okay. I see, look, see, do you see that person upside down right there?
Oh
That's
yeah,
Josh.
that's he's doing the rings, and he's doing upside down handstand. So he's learning to control his body. It took a while for him to hold that position. That is called hollow.
Uh-huh.
We had to move this up. That way we can see better. Yeah.
That's, that's,
And this
So
that's,
was
that's actually one of our coaches demonstrating for
no
his
no no.
boys
No,
class.
that's the boy.
That's-
Yes,
oh.
that's not Joshua.
It looks
That-
like Josh. Sorry,
Yeah, no,
it's
that's
a
one
little
of the
small
boys.
on the picture.
In
So I
our
can't-
well,
picture, like this tiny, so we're trying
yeah.
to get it.
How old is he then? He's a teacher,
He's
right?
no. He's about 7. That boy is 7.
7.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
a little boy.
A
Yeah, he
little
looks
boy.
big. Yes.
Okay. And you sent me another picture here. Let's check this one out. Is that him there?
Yes, that's the same boy.
Same.
right
Okay.
there, he's working on his tap swings to generate enough power to get upside down in that picture you just saw before this one. So he's swinging.
So actually, you're telling me, with the exception of my youngest, they could actually do gym work. And this is on, that's called the beam.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Okay. So that beam is, and how young is that person that's there?
She's turning 12 soon.
Yes, and she's one of our optional gymnasts, which means
Uh-huh.
she has passed the compulsory levels and she's making her own routines now. And she's messing around playing with some mounts that she could put in her future routine. So I was helping to spot her on that.
Oh yes, this I'm just saying this is awesome. I just can't imagine. I mean, uh, and here's another. I've got some more pictures I want you all to talk to.
She was trying
Yeah.
to demonstrate how to do that mount, is how to get in on the beam to make it a little bit more difficult. So I
Okay.
just got that shot in there.
Well, you had. I'm going to show you. Let's talk through. You talk about the beam. Here's one where we have the beam here. Talk to me a little bit. What's going? See, look at this. Talk about that for a minute.
So this video was taken last December,
Hmm.
and it was her compulsory state meet. So this is the last meet of the season. They're competing against all the other girls in the state, and she is doing a level 4 beam routine right there. And
Is that? Let's look at this. Tell me about. She's tapping the beam and doing this and staying on that. Is that? I guess that's difficult, isn't it?
it's pretty difficult, especially when you're nervous and you're competing in front of judges. But she just did a cartwheel, about to do her step leap. And all of these skills, uh, they're the same in everybody's routine. So they all compete the same routine
All over the country.
all over the country until level 5. After level 5, they compete whatever routine they want to compete.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
called optionals. After the fives, we go and move on to optionals levels, and they
I'm,
go 10.
I'm going to repeat that again. And so there are certain techniques that are required, and this is and so just tell me about the various techniques as we look at it, and when do they start learning these things? See, look at that. That's just kind of awesome to do
Well,
that.
they
'Cause-
learn those skills very early on the floor. And once they get it on the floor and they're consistent and doing it on
Mhm.
a line, that's when we're ready to put it on a beam. And then we go up to the high beam. So that's kind of the progression we take.
Okay. All right. See, now she's doing that. She's sticking the leg back and jumping, and those are
Mhm.
called. There are certain maneuvers. They got names, don't they?
Yes, right. Yes. Right there, she's doing a handstand.
Handstand. Uh-huh.
And what comes next? We have a leg swing,
Okay.
different poses. Right there is her split jump, straight jump,
Uh-huh.
Dance pass.
dance pass, half turn, and then
Mm,
she's getting ready to do her side handstand dismount.
okay. I didn't know that there were certain things to look for. Well, then,
Mm-hmm.
okay, let's check this one out and tell me about this. This is a different person now, right?
Is one of her teammates.
Uh-huh.
This is the exact same routine, but the judges are looking for very particular things on these movements. They're
Uh-huh.
looking for what's called presentation. So arms back, chin up. You have to look confident when you're on the beam. And the judges have discretion to take off points if you look not confident. So if you have
Okay.
your head down and you slump forward, they have the authority to take off points. You have to make
Okay.
sure you're really tight. You know what you're doing. That way you're confident.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
let me ask you this. Do people miss that thing sometime?
Absolutely.
Oh,
We have
yeah.
a lot of girls who are very, what's the word?
Shy.
They're shy. Yeah, and it's very
Yeah.
Confidence.
yeah, it's hard to get to a place in yourself where you're comfortable enough to really show off your body.
Yeah.
We
Mm-mm.
try to teach them to believe in themselves,
Mm-hmm.
to be self-confident, and especially say, I own this, I deserve this, I'm the best, I can do this, I work really hard to do this. So that's our main thing, to make them feel secure of themselves.
So what we're telling people is that our children can do these type of things. We can, with the proper training, starting with two, and so and starting at two. So for parents that are out there, they're looking for some activities. This is something that It scares me. Uh, is it safe, ladies? Is it safe?
If you do it
Is you
the
do it
right
right?
way, if you come to a real gym where there's lots of matting, there's lots of progressions you can take, it's
Hmm.
absolutely safe. But if
Well,
you take a child who's only done gymnastics for maybe one time and then you try to put them on a high beam, that's probably not the wisest thing to do. So, all of our coaches are very well trained. They know what's the safest route to get a child from point A to point B.
well, what makes Ingrid's gymnastics be so special? What makes that ideal for people? You want them to come and bring their kids there. What would be the thing you'd say makes it different? You said like a real gym. So
Mhm. It's
tell
a
me
lot.
the difference.
It's a lot of things about our gym. First thing, we love it, and we put our heart into it. And our kids are very diverse, and they learn to love each other. They help each other a lot, and when um, also we teach them to care about each other. So it's more than gymnastics. It's more than, we're just like a family, and we always just worry about everybody. We try to bring the best of every kid.
Hmm.
That's the main thing, to bring the best of each kid, make them feel confident. That's the main thing.
I think that would be good. I think that's what our children need today to have something that they can work towards that makes them feel self confident. We had a question to come in. Are college scholarships available in gymnastics?
We did a class for college kids, and it worked very well for 2 semesters, but we haven't offered it yet again.
But
Okay.
I think she's talking about like, do any of our gymnasts have college scholarships?
Oh, okay.
And right now, we don't have any gymnasts that are in level 10 that could get into college. You have to be at least a level 10 to make it to college gymnastics. So we're working our way up there. We almost
Uh-huh.
have level 7 and level 8. So it just takes a lot of time. A lot of time to develop a child and a teenager who can get to that level. It's very difficult.
I want to look at some other. This is like I said, the first time I saw, you said it was Inger, I think was her name, and Simone. They were doing this routine, and you describe what this type of thing is. Uh, this is on a mat of some sort, and tell me about this. See,
He was competing for level 7 for did back handspring layout,
uh-huh.
and she's about to get ready front, right, front tumbling pass and a back
Mhm.
pass. She just completed both of her tumbling passes, so all she has left is a couple of dance choreography.
And that young girl, you trained her from was that from the beginning? You taught
Mhm.
her how to do all of these
Very
things?
young age. She started with us very young age.
She was either 5 or 6
Yeah.
when she started with us, and she
And
started
how
all
old
the level 1 and made it to level 7.
yes. And then I see she kicked her ankles together. I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. And then she so there's these are routines. See, she's run, and I've seen Simone do that run, and then they flip, 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 and all of that. Um, I
You're
used to tell,
frozen a little bit.
okay,
Uh,
okay,
there you
it'll go.
are. There you are.
Uh-huh. So she is in level 7, you said, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah.
And how
So
old was she?
she
How old?
was. I think she might have been 12 in that
12 in that
video.
one.
Yeah, but she's 13 now.
Here's another one here I'd like to ask you about. Now, here's looks like a very young girl, and
Start with that 4.
This is
Oh, that's
Ray.
okay.
Yeah. So she just did her round off back
mm,
handspring. That was
mhm,
the end of her routine. That's her last tumbling pass. And then
okay.
there's her ending poses.
And now she looks when she does this, she seems to do that very easy. See,
Mm-hmm.
she's very.
She's very
She's
graceful,
very elegant.
That's
and she loves to show off at the meets. So she'll put her best performance when she goes to competition.
Yeah.
and so they're all trained to do this, and her age is approximately
But 12.
Yes, I think
12.
she was also 12 in that.
That was good. I thought. Was that good, or is that me? Just she did that so easy.
Yeah.
Well,
It
No,
does.
there's
in that
different
one she
requirements.
in that one she fell off. She should
Oh,
have done
she
100.
did.
Yeah. But
Oh, I can't
besides,
do it. Oh, see, that just looks so nice and just
mhm, she's
and so
very elegant,
graceful.
beautiful.
Yes. All right. And then
And this is her round off back handspring. And she's actually supposed to do 2 back handsprings, but something got messed up on her run and she only did 1, which was unfortunate during that meet because she did a really good rest of her routine.
did she win anything when she was doing her routine?
Can't remember.
I can't remember, but
Okay.
she actually qualified for regionals in another competitions. So she went to regional. She finished sixth on regionals.
Okay. Well,
Did
one
really
more
well.
I'd like to look at. One more I'd like to look at, and I think this is still. And what do you call these things when they're doing this? This is that's on a mat. And
Yeah,
what is this
that's
type of?
more.
It is
She is,
what?
she's also a level 7 gymnast, like the other
Uh-huh.
one, Katie Robles. And this was their first meet of the season, so things were still a little rough, but it was just to get them out there to get used to competing at every level. Yeah, and that was
Uh-huh.
her routine as well.
Okay. This is it's just watching them do this is just I,
That's
I,
a
I,
little
I,
bit later.
mhm. It just
So
This one
that
later.
right there was which leads to
okay. I'm not hearing you. See all of that.
that is her back handspring layout,
Mhm.
and
Area.
there's an aerial.
She almost looks like she's dancing.
Yes, you have to show some sort of dance and choreography in your routine to show
Uh-huh.
artistry. And this is her front handspring front tuck. She had a good landing.
Okay.
Yep, that was her routine.
Well, tell me just a little bit as we get ready to conclude, because I know you guys got to go back out there. You're training people tonight. So, what would you like to say to people in regards to gymnastics and inviting them to come become a part of it? This looks like it's going to take some time, but the discipline I think probably should help them in school in being disciplined to do their
Yes.
schoolwork too.
Yeah, that's something I can attest to. Because when I used to take gymnastics here, I had a very strict schedule. There wasn't a lot of time for me to goof around because as soon as I got done with school, I came here. And then after here, I ate dinner and did all my homework. So I didn't have time to watch YouTube for hours or be on Netflix. I just had to get my stuff done. And
Hmm.
on the days that I didn't have practice, I kind of didn't know what to do with myself. I wanted to be here. I wanted structure, good outlet for learn. Oh, okay, there we go. Yeah, but we do have a summer camp next week from 8 a.m. to
Well, now listen, I want to get that information. And you kind of frozen up here. A summer camp, as I heard you say, from 8 a.m. And we can get you back here. Hopefully, we can pick that up because we definitely need to know that information about the summer camp. And they're frozen on me right now, so maybe they'll be able to get back in there in a few moments. Um, yeah, we've
oh,
lost. There you go, Gabriella.
back. We had to
Tell
move
me
a
about
little
the
bit.
summer camp. So, are
Okay.
people can people still line up to get in that summer camp with their
Yes.
children? Tell us
Yes.
about that so they can get involved.
So the summer camp lasts from Monday to Friday, starting next week, July 26th, I believe. And it's
Okay.
150 for the whole week. And we will be doing
9 to 1.
8 a.m.
To
to 1
1.
p.m. 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. And we'll be doing lots of gymnastics. There's also water play. We have a pool in the back for them to swim. There's also arts and crafts that we do with some of our coaches who lead that. It's really fun. The kids love it, and they have open gym for a little bit too, where they get to do whatever they want.
So it's like they learn. It's like being in a daycare, and they are
Yeah.
active, and they learn to do something that's beneficial. Then okay, now
Yeah.
help me.
Yeah.
Weren't the
And
X-Men able to do this?
or tablets. And not I don't let them have their tablets or cell phones. So I don't know. They like
Wh-
that. But I wanted to uh, play it with each other, and I wanted to talk to children not only on the screen but with physical kids. I wanted to interact with people.
Okay. Well, now, Gabriella, maybe you know, and I don't know that's much about it, but there was a thing called the X-Men. Do you remember the X-Men?
Yeah.
Now, weren't they gymnasts too? Didn't they?
There's definitely
Training.
gymnastics moves that some of them did, but I don't think I would consider them gymnasts.
Well, maybe some of the young kids who've seen the X-Men, they
Yeah.
can participate next week. Come over there, and is it? Are you still have open enrollment? You still got room for people?
Yes, absolutely. Our next session starts in 2 weeks, like
Mhm.
the new session. We go by 9 week sessions. I don't know the exact prices, but
Yeah, different
if
prices for
you,
different classes.
yeah,
Well, they can call. I guess they can go
Yeah.
to.
Or the
Uh,
website we
has
have
all the
a
information.
yeah we have a
what is
current.
your website?
It's ingridsgymnastics.us, not .com, .us.
Okay. So ingridsgymnastics.us. They can go there, get more information about it. And children 2 to what's the oldest age?
18. Mm-hmm.
18. So an 18-year-old boy or girl could come, and it's not too late to get involved in this.
No, we just opened the new the enrollment for that session. Actually, this
Okay.
week is the we just opening.
Yeah, we are
Well,
here for people who want to do it just for a little while and for those who want to become competitive gymnasts. So we cater to whatever the kids' needs and desires are.
okay. Except for people like me, all we can do is sit there and watch and see
No,
that.
but
And
do
when
some
they're doing
stuff.
it, I mean, because it looks so serious. And just to be able to do that stuff and bouncing on those things, uh some little bar they flip on women. I don't think I showed you that one, but that's okay. You all got to go, but they spin on this thing and they flip, and they flip over it, and what is that thing? Wait a minute, let me see, is this it? No, that's not it. There was one I
That's
wanted to
over
there
here.
you go, that thing.
Yeah,
What
that's
is that?
called the uneven bars.
It's called the uneven bars.
Mhm. Because one bar is higher than one. So she's on the low bar right now, and she fell right there. She's supposed to jump immediately to the high bar, but right here, and this was
She just was learning the skills, so she needed spatters. So she was afraid to do it. So she needed two spatters,
Uh-huh.
and now Gabriela is going to go there to help the other coach because we're always thinking about safe first until the child is ready to do it by herself.
The uneven bars.
Then
Now I know what to call it. Okay. To the uneven bars. Because yeah, that's some awesome stuff that you guys are training the kids to do. So we just going to invite them to come out Monday at what time? 8 o'clock, was it? Or
yeah.
10?
If they're interested in the summer camp, yes, it starts at 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. And
Okay.
if they're just interested in classes, you can come in at 2 to 2:30 to 7:30 is our regular hours.
yeah,
Okay. Well, that's very good. So I just want to encourage people, those that might want to get the kids to do something. And let me see if we have any questions that might be coming in from the groups out there. Um, we'll just find out if there's let's see. Um, and I was just looking to see if there was anything here. Any questions? Apparently not. So we want everybody to know about Ingrid's gymnastics, and she's from. I heard the right way. I said Chile. She said Chile, And so I got it, Chile, right?
Yes.
Chile. Yeah.
Chile. Okay. All right. It's just like doing that stuff. The the beam, uneven bars, and the
Vault.
flat. What's the flat pad thing called?
That's called the vault.
The vault.
There's
table?
the floor area, and then there's the vault that you run full speed
I'm
at,
sure
and then
the vault
I
is
don't
over
know if
there.
you can see it over there.
Oh yeah, and then you jump up on that. Okay. Oh, that's
Yeah,
very dangerous. It's
all the way
just
there.
no, dude. And you don't even have seat belts. That's just I guess so. Don't tell the people out there, don't try this at home. If you
Yeah,
want to try this, go see Ingrid first or Gabriella, and they will teach you how to do it. Don't do this at home. It is not for those over 18 either. So
Oh yeah,
thank
yeah.
you all.
Or I competed until I was 25. So yeah, and
And
there's a
Simone is old too, isn't she?
yeah. I think
yeah,
she's either 24 or 26. I can't remember. Somewhere in there. Yeah.
yeah, and he's an old gymnast, 40 something. She's competing in the
Mhm.
Olympics. So
Somebody 40?
yeah, a mother of 2 or 3 kids. She's amazing. She always do vault. Her
We
favorite.
need to look for her then, okay? Because
Yeah.
a mother of several kids and she's 40 some years old doing the bar.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
that,
amazing.
it
That's
is amazing.
it's not normally what happens, but it's
No,
very
it's not normal to do it at all. To do what you all are doing is not
that's
normal. No, nobody can do that kind of stuff and get up on the beam and walk and without falling. The thing I think about is you fall and you split that beam, and that just does not sound
It's
like
not
fun.
pretty. No,
It's not pretty
it's
at all.
not pretty. It hurt. Yeah,
yeah. Luckily it doesn't happen too often.
yeah. When that
Okay, well,
the time we had to make the kids do it again. If not, it's a mental block. So we tried to get that block right away out of the way. And when you fail, you have to get up. That's
yes.
much what we do. Get
And
up
do it
and
again.
do it again.
Yeah.
You can do
Okay.
it. Life is that way. You fall, you get up, do it again.
I think I'd rather deal with life than to deal with a beam and then unequal bars and flipping and hitting your head. Thank you. I don't want to talk about it anymore. We need to get trained personnel to do this, and we're glad to have met both of you all, Ingrid and Gabriella. Glad to meet both of you all because and I'll tell people the address to the gym is where. Tell me that now.
8228 Division Court North, Birmingham, 35206.
And you can
Division
find
Court, no,
yeah.
8208. Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
8228.
Well, and for those that are out there and you might like to get your kids involved in this, you know where to go right now. Ingrid, Gabriella, thank you all so much for
Thank
being
you
a
so
part
much.
of this.
It's
Thank
great
you.
talking
And
to you.
Thank you.
when I watch the Olympics now, I'll at least know a little more about it than what I did before
Yeah.
now.
Mhm.
Thank you all.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Thank
Okay,
you.
we'll see you later. All right. All right. And now talking about gymnastics is something to do for the summer. What we're going to talk to, who we're going to talk to right now, is another brother that's a musician, and he's put his company together and to teach people how to play music. Now, whereas gymnastics says I'm too old to do it, I'm sure our next guest will be one that'll let you know this. No, you ain't too old to learn how to play music. In fact, now he started at a young age when he was 6 years old, and his grandmother bought him a keyboard. I think he had a Casio. I know about that when he was 6. He's a young dude, and I probably remember before there was a Casio keyboard. But that was he started playing at 6, and he's been playing all his life, and he loves music so much that he's even been involved with a touring band, signed to Epic Records in 2006. He works as a worship leader, been doing that for 9 years, which is a good thing here as a godly man, too, and playing hundreds of gigs and producing music that would be featured in TV and film and on his own. And he has his own recording studio. And all of this can be traced back to that little keyboard that his parents got him when he was 6 years old. So for all of you parents out there, you know, if it's not gymnastics, get him a keyboard, get him something like that. As my sons learn to play keyboards by themselves, and it looks like Jonathan is learning to do that on his own too. But back to my guest, um, he's been playing for quite a while, and he set up this business, and I think he has over 60 musicians that he's got that train other people how to play music. And his name is Will Mason with Mason Music. And I want to bring Will on right now. Will, greetings to you and welcome to Monday Night Live. Say hello to everybody and have it talking about yourself for a little bit and let them know what about Mason Music.
Well, hello. Hey, everybody. Hey, Bishop Tim. Thanks so much for having me on. This is awesome. It's super fun.
Yeah, well, it's good to have you here tonight. And I was impressed, you all, with Will that said, and being involved with the Jazz Hall of Fame, and he's training musicians too. How many students do you all have at this time?
Well, we have around 900 students right now across Birmingham, and it's summer. So for us, that's kind of the slow season. So we'll probably be running close to 1,000 when we get back to the fall, which just makes me so happy because music, like you talked about, has been such a huge part of my life since I was 6 years old and my grandmother got me that Casio, and through my whole life, which was, 32 years ago. I'm getting on up there now. So it just makes me happy that we have all these kids who are not just kids. We have all ages, but kids of all ages. We have adults who are in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. And you know what? And you sit down at an instrument, you feel like a kid. So I consider them kids too. But just makes me happy that people are learning how to play music, which is such a, I think, just a gift from God. It's an expression of the way that we've been made to resonate and to harmonize. And there's so much part of creation that just lines up so well with what we learn with music. So
I do like that. I think that music is what brings people together, and
right.
you learn how to do harmony. And one thing I've always said that as a musician, you really don't care about what a person's background is. You don't care where they come from. You don't care whether they're black. You don't care whether they're white. You don't care whether they're rich or poor. The only thing you really care about is, can you play?
That's
and
right.
if you can't play, I don't want to have no association. Get off the stage.
Get out of here. Yeah.
Get them out of here. That's exactly right. So you have how did you come about the idea of deciding to put this training together? And how old is your business now? You have a very successful business. How many years?
Yeah. Well, we've been doing this. It's coming up on 10 years next year. So really, honestly, it was an accident. I did not ever have the intention of starting a business. It was something that, looking back, there's no other explanation than, hey, this was a calling and this was something that just God ordained, and here it is. But we do have 5 locations now, and like you said, we have about 60 instructors and all these students, and it's really there's no way to explain that because I certainly am not smart enough or competent enough to do anything like that on my own. But music is such an important thing to so many people. It's easy to convince people to join our team and be a part of our mission. And we're on a mission to save music and change the world because we know music is something that's not being taught in schools anymore, and somebody's got to teach it. We're not okay to just sit by and let it kind of fade into the past, but we want that to be something that is continued to be passed along from generation to generation, because we've seen how much it impacted our lives, and we know how important it is for young people, old people, everybody to connect. It's just such an important art form and expression. So and we think that has the potential to change the world because it brings people together. Like you talked about, it doesn't matter what you look like, where you come from, what you think, what you believe. If you can get together and play in a band and you make good music together, we can overcome a lot of our differences. So we're pretty keen on that.
I think that's so very true. One thing I've always tried to do is bring people together, and a lot of times folk think certain people don't need to be together, but as a pastor and believing in the body of Christ and unity of the body, I resist any type of forms of separation. And as musicians, we learn how to work in harmony with one another.
Absolutely.
No matter what our egos are. When you're playing that music, there are certain times, even though you may be egotistical, you got to learn to blend. And that's what your ego will say, hey, I got to blend with this trumpet player. I got to blend with this. I can't be standing out, because if I stand out, then that shows I'm not a good musician. So we learn to work together. So for everybody, I think that's part of the reason why I reach out to everyone is having been a musician. And Will said something too, a gift of God. So we're looking right here on the screen, and
Sure.
this is something here about your company, Mason Music. If you'd like to tell me something about this, let's just share with the people. This is Mason Music Studios.com, so you can see. And let's get one thing straight now. What ages do you teach people how to play music? Let's see
Yeah,
if I'm excluded.
that's a great question. So we have a preschool music class that starts at 3 years old, and it is called Munchkin Music, and it is just about the cutest thing you've ever seen. And we're
I
enrolling.
saw that. Wait a minute. Let me
Yeah,
get the
so right
Munchkin
there in the
music
middle.
right
Yeah,
there.
there's
Let's
probably
bring
some
that
pictures
up.
in there.
Okay.
And it is super fun. It teaches the foundations of music. We talk about pitch and rhythm and tempo and dynamics, just the basic stuff. And it's a great way to lay that foundation for students who are, a little bit too young for private lessons, but they still want to have that exposure to music and start to sort of absorb some of those basic concepts so that when they're old enough for private lessons, they're ready to roll.
Mhm.
And so that's going on right now. It's about to start back up in the fall. And as you can see, this page of our website needs to be updated because during COVID we put that on hold, like just about
Uh-huh.
everything else. And so you'll have to check back on that one. But that starts off 3 to 5 years old, and then around age 6, we recommend people go ahead and then jump into private lessons. So
Didn't mean to,
um,
sorry, didn't mean to
that's
do
okay.
that, but
Yeah, if you click on music lessons right there.
okay.
Absolutely, yeah, right there. So with anybody over the age of 6, we really love private music lessons. And on this page, you can see we really believe music is for everyone, and that everybody can kind of have this aspiration to become a musician. Whether that's I just want to be able to strum along, play the chords. Maybe I'm gonna play just at home for myself, or maybe I want to be a part of the worship band and just play rhythm, or maybe I want to be playing lead in a blues band, or maybe I want to be singing lead or whatever it is. But we want to help you become the musician that you want to be, or that your
Mhm.
child aspires to be. And so we're really intentional about pairing a student with the teacher that's really going to help them reach their goals. And we see music as a vehicle for developing character, developing confidence, and also developing competence. So getting better at your instruments. And so right here, you can see all the instruments that we teach: piano, guitar, drums, voice, and violin. And on our website, if you're at home looking for something, you can click on those buttons and read all about how we think about these instruments, how we teach these instruments, where we find our teachers, and all that kind of information. But we teach private lessons, I think, is the best way to really build a skill in a one-on-one environment. And that is for any age above 6. So all the way up. So Bishop, you're in. I know you already play music, so maybe you can come on and teach for us. But
Well, maybe I might want to learn some things too.
right.
The latter part of my life, I was trying to do guitar, but I do guitar on a keytar.
Oh no. Okay, we got a
What?
guitar there.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's
Do
awesome.
it on a keytar, and I think I've got some software that allows me to do some real good things with it, but I just haven't had a whole lot of time to work with it. Um,
Yeah.
but nevertheless, this is good. So people can learn to do each one of those instruments there, and uh, even violin now. So you got people. What does a person do nowadays if they're going to learn to play violin?
Well, the first thing is to figure out, depending on their age and their size, we like
Mhm.
to size them for a violin. Violin is a little bit different than some of the other instruments. There's a lot of different sizes, and you want to make sure, especially for a young child, that you have the one that's going to be the right fit for them. If
Mhm.
they're playing one that's too big, it's going to be really hard for their fingers to reach the notes. And if it's too small, they're going to be crammed in there. And so we help people find the right size violin. We rent violins out so that you're not on the hook for a big upfront investment. And then 6 months later, your kid grows out of that violin. You got to buy another one.
Mhm.
So we rent violins and help you get the right size. And then we help you find a teacher that's really going to work with you and just love on your kid. I mean, we have great teachers who not only are good at playing instruments or good at playing music, but they really have a secondary skill, which is teaching. And that's a totally distinct skill. You can be great at playing music and not so great at teaching it. And we have to go through and find people who are great at both. And so that's really what Mason Music really is we're doing all the hard work to find great teachers. So when you call us, we can take care of matching you with the perfect teacher for your child based on their personality, their goals, and of course, your schedule.
What about, I see, are these the only instruments? What if I wanted to take cello, for instance? I've always loved cello, but do you
Yeah,
have
cello is a beautiful instrument. It is
Mhm.
not part of what we offer most of the time.
Uh-huh.
We try to be very particular about being really good at a few things instead of trying to do all, being all things to all people.
Mhm, mhm.
Every once in a while, we'll have a teacher who comes on board to teach guitar who also plays the mandolin or the banjo. And so, on a case by case basis, we'll be able to offer that. But these are the five that we're just committed to forever and ever. We're always going to teach these instruments. And so, we've had a trumpet teacher in the past, we've offered flute, we've had cello. But at this moment, we can kind of commit to, we want to be really intentional about really developing people on piano,
Yeah.
guitar, drums, voice, and violin.
All right. Do we have any success stories we might talk about here? Like I
Oh
know.
man, how much time do you have?
Well, you
That's
can
my
tell
favorite thing. Yes. So,
some.
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, no, go ahead. I'm just looking at the pictures as they go by here.
So, like I said, we're coming up on 10 years, and so we've been doing it long enough to know, hey, does this really make a difference for a student? Are we, that's the goal. That's what we talk about is we want people to get better at playing music, but anybody can kind of say that. That's my son right there. Oh man, what's up, Liam? Anyway, anybody can kind of talk about that stuff's important, but after 10 years, we should have some stories to tell to really prove, are we doing what we said we were going to set out to do?
Mhm.
And I'll pick one right now. One of my personal students, her name is Brianna, and she started taking lessons with me a few years ago on the guitar. And she learned how to play the chords. She's very motivated, great practicer. She works really hard at home. And she's now writing her own music. She has added voice lessons. So she's working with one of our voice instructors because she wants to be a singer songwriter. And the next step for her, we were working on it earlier today, is we're going to get ready to go into the recording studio and track
Mhm.
her first album. And she really believes and she sees herself now as a musician. So we take somebody from, hey, this is just something I do. And if that's all somebody wants to have it as, like, hey, this is an extracurricular, it's just something fun I do as a hobby, that's fine. But for those students who really connect to music and it starts to be a part of their identity, we want to offer them every opportunity to develop their talent that we can. And that's why we have not only the private lessons, we do workshops. We have a program called Rock Band League, which I want to talk about in a minute. We have a recording studio. We sell retail, so we can get you a new guitar or an amp or whatever you need, just to make sure that you can get on stage, you can perform, you can write songs, you can go wherever music is taking you,
Mhm.
with us equipping you.
Well, what about if somebody wants, what if they figure they're a good songwriter or something they want to, can you help them with placing their music? Do you do any of that? Do you know musicians that are looking for material? Because a lot of folk think they can write, but do you have connections to help people that would like to get into the music business? Anything on that you can say?
Sure. We, like you mentioned earlier, I played in a band and toured for a number of years, which seems like a lifetime ago. Uh,
Hmm.
I've got the tattoo to prove it, my one tattoo. Uh,
Okay.
and so it's a piano, so it's got to be music related, right?
Oh, I see there. Let's see. Well, we need to let everybody see that a little bit more so they can look at that on there. Okay.
So the Black Keys, which is the pentatonic scale, and that's the foundation of blues music, and which is my favorite style
Hmm.
on the guitar. And in touring and in being signed to the label, I still have some connections in the industry, and that's something that we're constantly developing. And as we grow as an organization, we want to have those connections so that our students are able to connect with somebody on down the line, so they have an opportunity to, if they are writing songs, that we can connect them with whatever that next step is. And I'll tell you a cool opportunity we had recently. We partnered with a new music festival in town that happened a few weeks ago at the zoo called Euphonious. And we were able to get our students as an opening slot on the stage, big stage, opening for some really legitimate artists. So Drew and Ellie Holcomb on Friday night, Moon Taxi, which is a huge band, on Saturday night, and then she was at Sunday night, Sister Hazel and Tonic on Sunday night. And so our students got to meet some of these band members. They got to be a part of an acoustic set that they played during the day. So we're constantly trying to connect them with either other musicians, other artists, or producers and publishers, so that if they are serious about writing and getting their music out there, that we can kind of get them connected. But that networking stuff is, as I'm sure you're aware, like very challenging to get your foot in the door. And we're constantly just creating those relationships and those friendships and getting people connected. So,
Well, that's good. We've got a lot of people, I think, in my church that would like to write songs and do it, and perhaps need the additional training so that they can do it better. So they should contact Mason Music and talk and just get just talk with you, because I'm sure you can point them in the right directions for us training and everything else they need to know. I also see that you have a studio and what do you do in your studio? Because people, they want to know where to go.
absolutely. Yeah. The recording studio, that is like my favorite thing. And we have several different engineers and producers that actually work there to help people create their art. But we have great state-of-the-art gear. We actually just upgraded all of our equipment in there, have a new desk coming in next week, and we're gonna have a big rewiring party because we have to unplug every cable in there and replug it back in. So that's gonna be a long process, but it's gonna be fun. But yeah, this is where we really help artists, whether they're the first time in the recording studio or they've been doing it for their whole life, bring their art to life, find their voice. You know, if it's a young musician who's trying to figure out, should I sound like this? Should I sound like this? Really helping them kind of hone in on who are you going to be as a musician. You know, you don't want to just try to sound like somebody else. Who are you really? But also, you know, if you already know who you are and you don't need that, we're there to just make you sound good. So we record bands, we record solo artists. We've tracked everything from, you know, a woman who was recording herself playing hymns on a piano so that her grandkids would be able to listen to that someday, to rock and roll band, to rap artists, R&B, hip hop, country. I mean, we really just love the recording process so much that we really are happy to work with anybody on anything.
All right. Well, tell me a few other things that you'd like to share. I see music camps you have, and of course, I think you told me that's over for now, but people can sign up for a music camp where they get. Is that a week long or how long?
Yeah. Music camps were almost wrapped up for the summer. We did, it's been a week to week journey, sprint every week this summer. I think we've had 12 or 13 camps with over 250 kids enrolled in different summer camps. And we have something for every age group. So right here you see this year our preschool camp was themed around a safari. So we had all sorts of explorers and different crafts around that. So 3 to 5 year olds learning the foundations of music. We had a beginner camp for ages 6 to 9, which is where students learn which instrument is right for them. So they get to try out all 5 of the instruments that we teach. We have different teachers there every day. They rotate through and they get hands-on experience. So they learn the basics and they kind of figure out where they fit and what clicks for them. And then we had a guitar camp for beginners where we really worked with students 9 to 13-year-old to just get the basics of guitar under their fingers. And then we had a couple of rock band camps where we put kids on stage at the end of the week. They practice every day for 6 hours learning music together in a group. And so obviously that was for older kids who already know how to play. So we're just about wrapped up for the year on the summer camps. And the rest of the ones that we have are sold out, but we will have a winter music break camp. So definitely bookmark this page, check your calendars. October 1st, we're going to be having registration open for our winter break camps. That'll be happening over that Christmas break. So if you're looking for stuff for your kids to do that week between Christmas and New Year's, definitely want to check out camps.
And once again, no age limitations on playing music, right?
Right. That's right. The camps are kind of age specific, but if you just want to learn how to play, we are here for you. Doesn't matter what age you are. So you are not gonna. I watched what you were talking about with the gymnast, and I'm with you, Bishop. I would be injured within 5 minutes there. My kids
No.
need to sign up for gymnastics, but don't put me on the balancing beam. That would be a bad accident waiting to happen.
No, I don't. I don't even like thinking about that. We're talking what I want to talk right now is
That's
music.
right.
Okay, so let's see. I saw your locations. I want to bring that up so people can know where they can go.
Absolutely.
Of course, we go to, as we've got it going on, scrolling along the bottom, masonmusic.com. But
And can I tell you about Rock Band League? That's one thing that I think your viewers.
okay, let's bring that up there. Rock Band League, and
Yeah. So, and you can click on over there to the far right where it says Rock Band League next to Recording Studio.
okay,
And that is going to be, this program is, if you have a kid who already plays music and is good and wants to be in a band, but where are you going to find other musicians? Where are you going to find a place to practice? And how are you going to get them on stage? Rock Band League is perfect for you. This program is the coolest thing we do, and it puts kids together in bands. As you can see, they make friends with each other. Outside of Rock Band League, they start hanging out. And the cool thing about this, you know, I grew up in Birmingham. I went to Mountain Brook schools, and I only knew other kids at my school. I never met anybody outside of my school. Even in sports, you know, it's only kids at your school. Rock Band League puts kids together. We don't care what school you're from. We don't care what part of town you live in. We're matching you based on your age, what instrument you play, and we're going to put a band together around you. You're going to practice every week with a coach at our place. You don't have to have garage band practice where you're bothering your neighbors, and we're going to put you on a real stage. And so 3 times each semester, we put these kids on stages at real music venues. This video is filmed at Iron City downtown, and this is a huge music venue where national touring acts come through and play. And these kids feel like total rock stars, and they shred on the stage at Rock Band League. It's really, really cool. And we're registering right now for fall. So now's a great time to jump in if you've got kids who are already playing music, they want to meet other students who are playing music, and they want to get on stage. This is where they're going to get better, because it's very different playing by yourself and then playing in a group, as you know.
well, all right. Well, this is good, and so they get in touch with you through Mason Music, and you had something called Mason Music Foundation. What was that about now?
Yeah, absolutely. So Mason Music Foundation, we realized, gosh, probably 5 or 6 years ago, really from the beginning, I had a vision for this, that we were going to not only be a business that serves, you know, customers with discretionary income and working for profit, but music is something that everybody deserves to have the opportunity to learn how to play. And we realized pretty quickly that even in our own city of Birmingham, there's a pretty big divide in terms of wealth inequality, and there are a lot of people who are being left out of some of these opportunities. And like I said earlier, school systems, the budgets for the arts have been cut, so music isn't being taught as much in schools anymore. And so we started a nonprofit to try to tackle that problem, or at least make a dent in it, and do our part. And so the Mason Music Foundation raises money through private grants, through donations, and we provide scholarships for students who qualify for financial aid. And I'm happy to report that right now we have over 50 students every week taking lessons on scholarship with us. And these are kids who otherwise would not be able to have private music lessons. And they're getting to come to our space. Most of them are at our Woodlawn location, and they sit across the room from a teacher who looks them in the eye and says, I believe in you. You can do this. I know it's hard, but you are worth it, and you are harder. You're a hard worker, and you can do this. And so giving those positive messages to everybody is just so important to us. And so masonmusicfoundation.org right there. You can donate there. And if you or your family needs to apply for a scholarship, you can do that at the same website. And so that's just a big part of who we are and the way that we are reaching beyond just the communities that are able to afford what we do on a regular basis at full price, and be able to just achieve our mission of saving music and changing the world through another means. And so we're just kind of expanding our mission that way. So it's pretty important to me as well.
Well, I appreciate you sharing with us tonight, and so think we've given people that's 2 activities. one for the children and one for that can be for the children and us older folk too.
That's right. Us older children.
That's right. So contact you at Mason Music, and they just get that information there at Mason Music. And you've got a foundation. You got the Rock Band League that kids can get involved with. What about older people? Can they be mixed with a group? Can you find a group for them?
I'm so glad you asked that. So we got that question a lot because anytime these parents come to these concerts, they started asking, hey, would you ever consider putting us in a band? And so we started an adult rock band league. So if you go to rockbandleague.com, there's a place to register for kids, the youth division, and then there's also a place to register as an adult. And so if you are, playing at home and you're good, but you don't know who to call to get in a band, you got to check it out. It is really fun. And, what I've learned is that adults are more nervous about this stuff than kids are. So we'll take care of that for you. We'll take care of you. We're going to put you with a coach who will help you overcome the stage fright. And look, it's very different being on stage by yourself and being up there with your compatriots and other people that you've been working with in practice. You've got just a little bit of that confidence that comes from the people around you on stage. So definitely a fun way to just build your skill as a musician and meet some new people through Rock Band League.
Well, Will, I want to thank you for just sharing with us and let people know the other activities they can get involved with. And of course, this is one close to my heart is music. So they can reach out to you and become part of a band if they get part of the Rock Band League. And then if they want to record their music, because there's a lot of adults in my church that write music, do that. And you've also talked about how helping them with production, playing instruments, all well and good. So everybody can get in touch with Mason Music. And I know what the other thing was. It's the various locations. Let's just look at those. I want to do that real quick. Where do I need to go for that, Will? Because I need to bring my next guest on too.
Sure. Yeah. If you go to the contact us, or actually if you just click on the website, sign up for lessons, there's a little red button in the top right corner. That'll show your guests all the different locations. So we're really intentional about trying to be located really conveniently in the different neighborhoods around. So like I mentioned, we have that one studio in Woodlawn on First Avenue North. We have a studio in Cahaba Heights, in Bluff Park, in Greystone, in Mountain Brook. And we also have online lessons. We figured out how to use Zoom last year, like everybody else. And so if any of those, if none of these are convenient for you, you can always sign up for an online lesson, and we'll come to you through your computer.
All right. Well, very good, Will. Thank you so much for that.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. And we'll be looking forward to talking with you further as we talk about music. God bless you. And as a worship leader, what church are you a member of?
I'm at Redeemer Community Church. We meet in Avondale.
Redeemer. I've got some friends that are there. I didn't know you're a worship leader there. We got to talk afterwards.
Yeah, I'm on the worship team there. I have taken a break from being a employed worship leader after doing it for 9 years to focus on my calling here with Mason Music. So I still participate, but I'm not the worship leader there. There's a lot of super talented worship leaders
Redeemer. I'm going to talk to you offline on that. So let me get on with my next guest. But I appreciate it. The Lord makes certain connections here. That's good.
I believe
God bless you. And we'll talk to you soon, okay?
God bless you.
All right. Okay, I got one more guest I want to get on. I know I've gone a little bit longer, but not that long compared to what I normally do. But right now, I'm about to bring on a brother here that's with Alabama Tourism Department, and he knows about what's going on all over the state, and I appreciate him holding on for here. He's a native of Huntsville, received his degree in business administration and marketing. Hospitality and tourism from Auburn University in Montgomery. And he's worked with the tourism department now with the state of Alabama for 5 years. I'm going to bring on at this moment Graham Roderick. And Graham, hello. Thank you for being so patient with us.
Oh, yeah, no problem, Bishop.
I think we had a very interesting program here, but now you pull it all together and tell these folk that are in Alabama, I guess they got something good that's going on in Alabama because you deal with Alabama tourism, and I guess you bring them in from all over the world. the stuff that's going on here. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. So yeah, they gave me a gracious title when I got to Alabama Tourism. I am the international sales manager. Rolls off the tongue kind of nice, but yes, my main goal is to try to get people from outside the state of Alabama to come spend the night in the state of Alabama. We are funded by lodgings tax, but I'm not here to talk about all of that. I know the theme for tonight is summer activities, and for a lot of a lot of people here. You probably know a little bit about some of the local activities, but I'm going to help you kind of. We'll go through and talk about some of the other stuff that you can see throughout our great state, and maybe some things that you might not have known about Alabama. I will be honest. When I first started with Alabama Tourism, even being born and raised in the state of Alabama, there are a lot of things that I did not know about. For example, starting in North Alabama, up in and around Huntsville, there's a town called Scottsboro that's just north of Lake Guntersville. And so, for any kind of thrift shoppers out there looking for some quirky place, there's a place called Unclaimed Baggage. And this is actually the place where lost luggage ends up. Um, I, I hope no one here has ever had to deal with the unfortunate circumstance of losing your luggage from a flight, but you can, rest easy knowing that if you do, you can just drive a short little while to Scottsboro, Alabama, and go look for your lost bag. It's a pretty cool place, very quirky, kind of interesting. They've got everything from a suit of armor. You'd be really surprised to see what people try to bring on an airplane. Yes, that's right. You heard me. A suit of armor. But the main stuff, the good stuff is, iPads, iMac computers, phones. I actually got a all black Michael Kors. I mean, it's a real heavy watch for I think it was $40.
So wait a minute. What goes on up there? And if you turn that volume down,
Oh, sorry.
so what goes on? People can go there and they can purchase stuff that's been unclaimed baggage in Scots.
Yes, that's right. Any luggage that's lost on a plane ends up in Scottsboro, Alabama. Believe it or not, it's pretty wild.
Gee. So
And again, just a short drive to the west, there is Huntsville, one of the fastest growing cities in America. And for those that have students that are into science, math, engineering, technologies, arts, for the creative, U.S. Space and Rocket Center, I'm sure most people here have heard of it. But if you haven't been there, it really truly is a great experience, especially for kids. I know, being born and raised in Huntsville, we used to go there at least once a summer. And between, having all the different interactive exhibits and different simulators where you can, land a shuttle or land a spacecraft on the surface of Mars in a simulator,
mhm.
or, land the space shuttle on the runway in, Cape Kennedy. It's pretty incredible, and they also got some cool rides. They got one of those rides where they shoot you up straight up in the air, which is supposed to simulate a rocket taking off. And they also got one of the ones. I'm not a huge fan of it. I used to be as a kid, but as I've gotten older, I get a little more wheezy. They got the one that spins you around really fast, which is simulating G-force on your body. So U.S. Space and Rocket Center is definitely a great place that you can spend a few hours in, let your kids run around and let out some energy.
Mhm.
And for those that, really want to learn to train to be an astronaut, because, maybe y'all seen in the news, Virgin Galactic's Richard Branson was the
Yeah.
first civilian to actually make it to the last layer of atmosphere. And they are actually developing the rocket that will take man to Mars.
I think what is it,
So,
$25,000 a trip? I think it is to get on that thing with Brandon.
I think I thought it was. I think it's at 25,000 or 250,000.
Oh, it
It's.
might be
I'm
250,000 because
Yeah, it
the
depends on
25.
where you put the decimal, but I mean, it's definitely, it's not to the point where, I'll be honest, people like myself would be able to afford anything like that.
Well, it's like the cost of a house. I mean, it'll go
Cost of a
into
pretty
space.
nice house where I live. But yeah, I mean, it is the future. And
Yes.
your kids right now are going to be the generation that are, stepping foot on Mars. And,
Hmm.
US Space and Rocket Center is the only place in the entire world that you can actually train as a young kid to be an astronaut. So that's pretty cool.
Hey, let me ask you
Um,
something, Graham. Did we lose the Space Force in Huntsville?
No, actually, Huntsville they are still going to get the Space Force headquarters. There's actually, so for those that know, a quick history lesson, NASA actually began in Huntsville. Dr.
Yes.
Werner von Braun came over from
Hmm.
Germany after World War II and was recruited by the US Army to beat Russia to the moon. That was his main goal. And he settled in Huntsville, Alabama, of all places. He said Florida was too hot and Texas was too flat. For those that have never been to Germany, Germany is actually very woodland and forested, and it's got rolling hills very similar to the northern part of Alabama, which is at the base of the Appalachian Mountains. And so, long story short, the U.S. Army sold him a bunch of land because that's where the Redstone Arsenal kept a bunch of ammunitions and such. And decades later, he developed the Saturn V rocket and developed the F1 engine, which is the largest engine man has ever created, which
Hmm.
landed man on the moon. Um, so that's just a long story to say that if you have any children that are interested in learning about science, technology, it's more than just space. They have a robotics camp. They have aviation challenge where you can learn to be a fighter pilot. They have cybersecurity now. Learn how to program and code, which is there's going to be a huge growth in jobs within the next couple of decades. But moving on from Huntsville, I wanted to mention I heard Will talk about how music kind of transcends kind of race and time and that sort of thing, and I want to echo kind of what he was talking about for those that really love music, and this might be for more of the adults in the crowd, but you can definitely take your kids along. I'll give you something for your kids to do while you go check out the recording studios in Muscle Shoals, Alabama. So
Hmm.
there's two recording studios that were famous in the 60s and 70s. Fame Recording Studios and Muscle Shoals Sound Studio. There's going to be Jennifer Hudson is going to be portraying Aretha Franklin in a biopic, and that's going to be debuting in Alabama this or next month in August, or no, excuse me, at the end of this month, and then we'll be premiering worldwide next month. But Aretha Franklin became the Queen of Soul after she recorded in Muscle Shoals, Alabama, and with Muscle Shoals musicians. And it's pretty wild. So I don't know. There's a documentary called it's the Muscle Shoals documentary, which was actually funded by Jimmy Iovine and Dr. Dre. When Dr. Dre and Beats Select, they donated $1 million to the Muscle Shoals Music Foundation to renovate that studio because of the history that was there. I mean, we're talking hits. Yeah, Wilson Pickett, Etta James, Aretha Franklin, Boz Scaggs, Paul Simon, Clarence Carter, Percy Sledge. I mean, huge names
Right.
out of the 60s and 70s and huge hits, which is pretty wild because in the 60s, that was in the heart of the modern civil rights movement, in the heart of Jim Crow South. And like Will said, didn't matter if you were black, white, yellow, green, red, blue, orange. man, if you could play music, you're welcome here. So it's pretty incredible. And that's, part of the story that's told in Muscle Shoals, not just incredible music that's recorded in this tiny little town in the middle of the northwest corner of Alabama. Just you would never expect to hear such great music come out of such a small place on a map. It's pretty incredible. But for the kids, while you're in the Shoals and Florence and these small towns, you go to the University of North Alabama. They actually have the lion exhibit there, and that was the first school I attended when I graduated high school. And if you're lucky enough to actually hear the male lion roar, it's you'll definitely remember it. It's pretty wild. You can hear it for miles.
So what are they? It's like a safari type thing.
No, it's actually just it's a large habitat on the campus of North Alabama, like right in the middle across from the cafeteria hall, because they are the North Alabama Lions, and that's their mascot. And they have a nice habitat, which, kids love, and you can go get your picture taken there. And it's free. So
So
you
wait a
just
minute,
walk right on campus.
they got a lion
They
that's
got a male and a female lion. It's pretty wild. And it's really cool. So what you want to do, if tell your kid, get in a like fetal position and turn your back to the glass, and that female lion will start to slowly kind of like approach the glass and then lunge at you, because you're in a fetal position. You're in a, I don't know what the word is, but
vulnerable.
vulnerable. Yes, that's the perfect
Yeah.
word.
If the lion turn your
You're in a
back on the
vulnerable
lion
position, so
anytime.
they're gonna lunge at you for a quick, easy meal. It's pretty wild.
Okay.
But also,
University of North Alabama. Okay.
that's
Well,
right.
bring me
And I
close to
completely
Florence.
forgot. Oh, sorry.
No, what are you about to say?
I was gonna say another, in between Florence and the northwest corner in Huntsville. There's also a brand new museum, the Cook Museum of Science, and that's talking about entomology, insects and bugs and that sort of thing. Brand new, state of the art exhibits, immersive experiences. Just a quick, I think about an hour and a half drive, probably 2 hour drive from Birmingham. The Decatur is right off the interstate there.
Well, Graham, can you tell me, since of course we got people from all over that are listening in, but right here in Birmingham or close by Birmingham, I noticed that on the website you got a few eating places, and everybody likes to go get some good to eat. Can you recommend part of Alabama Tourist? I mean, that might
Oh,
get you in trouble, but are there some?
oh yeah, playing fair. Yeah, it's tough. You got to walk a fine line, but choosing between favorite restaurants in the state.
Mhm.
I mean, in Birmingham, that their tagline, they are the dinner table of the South. Um,
I tell you what, on your website, you got some 100 dishes to eat in Alabama.
yeah, and there's a mobile app too. It's funny, anytime we get to travel in and around the state of Alabama, it says we try to check one of the restaurants off. It's a little misleading. It says 100 dishes. There's more like 220 something restaurants and dishes on there. It was hard to narrow it down to just 100. 100 just, it just sounds better.
Sounds good, yeah. Yeah.
Um,
So
but yeah,
I tell you what, this is Alabama.travel. So people
that's
can go there. We might want to tell them how to use this website to find out activity. Is this the place
oh
for if they're looking to know what's going on in their area?
Yes, absolutely. So, Bishop, you're right. If you want Alabama.travel is our consumer website. So if you want any kind of information on different places to go, different events happening in local areas, there is an event calendar in there, as you'll see at the top of the nav bar at the top.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it's got a pretty decent search engine. Just, you could type in there Cook Museum of Natural Science, or, space and rocket, or, beaches, or anything in there, and it'll pop up. But yeah, that's that. I'll be honest. I use that website all the time, sitting at my desk when people are asking me for information about different places, and this, that, and the other. I'll use Alabama.travel. You can
Okay.
actually build a road trip too.
So this would be where we would tell them to go to get some ideas of where to go here in Alabama, because that's what your major thing is, getting people to tour
Yeah,
the state. So I guess of all things, of the many activities that we have here in Alabama,
yeah. I mean,
Alabama.travel. Hmm. Go ahead.
there's. I mean, you're. I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you, but
Oh no,
there's too many to list right there. I mean, yeah, Bishop's right. If you want information, if you think you're gonna go see a relative in another part of the state on the way there, you want to know what's on the way there. Alabama.travel would be your best bet to uh, see what's off the side of the road, because that's another thing about Alabama. You got quirky different stops. You got the world's largest was it like lawn chair or something? You've got a recreation of Stonehenge down. I mean, if you're going to the beach, the Gulf Shores, Orange Beach, on your way down to the beach, there's actually a place you can stop off of. It's a couple, probably about 10, 15 minutes off the interstate, but it's a recreation of Stonehenge in England, but it's in South Alabama.
Hmm.
Who would have known such a thing?
Who would have thought about something like that? That's one of the more interesting things to do. Stonehenge in Alabama. Because now
I
we
know,
have and
right?
the mounds in Moundville, Alabama. Um,
Mounds in Moundville. There's some in Florence up near the music studios too.
yeah.
But the significant ones are right there in Tuscaloosa, right south of Tuscaloosa in Moundville. Um, Also, if you and I can't be on here and not mention. If you haven't been to the EJI Memorial in Montgomery, it's an outdoor memorial. Now, I will admit it talks about a history, a part of U.S. history and Alabama history, that's tough. Especially as being a white person, not from that era, it's heavy. And when I walk through there, I mean, I get my hand hair on my arm stands on end. I mean, but it's an incredible memorial. It's beautifully organized and created, and the museum itself is absolutely it's incredible. I'm one
You
of those
said,
nerds that goes to a museum and reads every single word on every plaque, on every exhibit. And so, yeah,
what is that now?
EJI Montgomery. It's Equal Justice Initiative. It
Okay.
was actually started by Brian Stevenson. There was a movie about him. He was portrayed by Michael B. Jordan, and it had Jamie Foxx. And it
Hmm.
was actually he's a lawyer, and it was his first. I think it was his first case where a man who was on death row for murder, which he obviously didn't commit, was acquitted.
Hmm.
It's pretty incredible.
Um,
And then also for those that don't know, um, Mardi Gras actually originated in Alabama. So when you get off this video tonight, and you're at the water cooler at work tomorrow, you can tell people you learn that Mardi Gras actually originated in Mobile, Alabama, not New Orleans, Louisiana.
okay.
And they've got a cool Mardi Gras park down there that you can check out.
My
But
son-in-law
yeah,
is from Mobile, and I know that from finding out it was there too. As we talked about jazz and music, Alabama has a lot to go for it. That's there, and I was just pulling up the EJIs, what you're talking about here.
yep,
Um, I think that you say it's difficult for you when you talk about those things, but I will say this: I don't want these things removed. I want folk to remember
yep,
what was done and that it was glorified at a certain time. Because if we don't remember what our past is, even if it's offensive to the younger people today, uh, we've got to recognize that what this nation did, it shouldn't be forgotten. And if we remove these symbols of the racism that was there because we say it's offensive, they were put up by people that thought it should be glorified and it should be remembered. We need
I
to
can't remember
remember.
what the old saying is. If you try to get rid of the past, you're gonna make the same mistakes. There was something I can't remember. There was somebody. It was a very profound statement, and just echoing what you were saying, Bishop, is if you remove these things and people forget about them, then they're bound to make the same mistakes.
If you've lost an understanding of what the past is, you're doomed to make the same mistakes of the past.
Right.
And I do see that. I think it's very conniving that we do have people who say remove it, but if you remove it, then people can then say it never happened. I think this nation needs to remember the tragedies and the injustices that were done, not erase them, but recognize it was there and recognize we continue to do it again. And that's me as from reading the Bible, all the good and bad is there. But that's not what we're talking about. We got a question
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
One said, I saw someone recently post about a strawberry farm somewhere in Alabama where you can go and pick strawberries. Do you know of that place?
Yeah, so that is in Maggie Valley Berry Patch. I just Googled it. It's sweetgrownalabama.org would be a great place because we're actually going to partner with them. Myself and our art director will be doing a kind of a highlight reel for one of their conferences coming up.
Sweetgrownalabama.com.
Sweet Grown, our favorite Alabama you pick strawberry farms. And the first one listed is in Grant, Alabama, which is North Alabama, Maggie Valley Berry Patch. Oh, well, you can just share. Here, let me share the post and I'll put it in there in the chat.
Do that.
There's also a guy who does, now, not that anybody needs to, this is mainly for our international people because I'll be honest with you, international food isn't nearly as our, the food from Alabama and the South. When I say the South has the best food in the world, I really do mean that.
I think so. I love it.
It's pretty wild. But there's a guy down in South Alabama who he has a biscuit workshop, and he uses his mom's or his grandma's recipe and makes homemade biscuits. So that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, you know what, Graham? I think we're going to have to get you back so we can talk some more about what's going on in Alabama, especially when the winter months come around here, so folks can know what they can do in the winter. But this is great. Once again, we've got it scrolling across the bottom, Alabama .travel to see what's close by so that they can go. And this actually looks good right here. Go pick.
Those blackberries look good.
I'm telling you, all that looks good right there about something. And just go, that's a good thing to do. Just go pick crops. Oh, yeah. All right.
Just in time for dinner.
You know what? And I haven't had dinner yet, so I know what's going wrong with me right now. I'm looking at it and I'm thinking about it. I already asked you what good places to eat, so that's what. And then seeing that one that comes up here from time to time, it gets it on my mind. So, Graham, and if they do, if they want to get more information, go there, and if they want to get in touch with you, do they talk to you, or are you just one?
Yeah, you can. So I'll see if I can put it in the.
I'm
gonna put it in the private chat. You can, if you have any kind of questions, you can email me. You can call our toll-free number. I'm pretty sure it's listed at the bottom. You will speak with a very nice woman named Charlene, and we should have brought her on here because she's the one that answers the phone and has to answer all the silly questions that come in about this, that, and the other. We might have to bring her on next time because she knows everything there is to know because she's customer support. She's the first voice you hear when you talk to Alabama Tourism.
Okay, well then so people can actually call and get this information here. So this is now this is where they can reach you at the your website, right? Your email address.
That's my direct. Yep, that's my email address.
So if
you have
somebody
any questions, holler at me.
if you're planning a family reunion and try to do something like that, want to use Alabama, you've got Graham right there that you can get in touch with him. And do you all help people if they want to talk about, I'd like to get my family reunion, I'd like to go places, and kind of,
Yes. So I will give you one of my coworkers, Rosemary Judkins. She is our group travel director.
mm-hmm,
Um, and I'm pretty sure now, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm like 95% sure there is, because that is one of our bigger markets, is like family reunions in large groups
mm-hmm.
coming to certain cities. And I want to say she has some sort of form or something that if you're bringing in a family reunion, she can help, get you a permit or whatever it is to have it at a certain location. I know here in Montgomery, the Montgomery Riverfront is a popular destination for family reunions and groups. The Shakespeare Festival as well. But yes, her name's Rosemary Judkins, and yeah, you can reach out to
Amen.
her.
Okay, that can help with that. All right. Well, I tell you what, I'm glad to have you with us, Graham. And
Thank you
like
so
I said, we
much.
have to get you back. We went a little long on this program today, but it's one that I think is very informative to give people a lot of information from flipping to playing music, and then just hanging out at the various sites that are here in Alabama. So,
Absolutely.
Graham, thank you once again, and
Hey, thank
thank
you,
you for your
Bishop. Thank you,
time.
guys.
And I'm gonna be in touch with you because, like I said, we got a
Yeah,
lot we got to talk about with the Alabama Jazz Hall of Fame. Uh,
absolutely.
and so we'll be talking to you soon. God bless you, and to everyone, we're getting ready to depart here right now. I appreciate all of your time and everything we've done. And remember, uh, I'll be on Wednesday night. And Thursday night, we'll be with Pastor Lawrence at Fellowship Bible Church. And then Sunday morning, we'll be delivering a message there. So I love every one of you. I've got to run, and we'll be seeing you soon. And what's the one thing I always want you to remember? Um, well, before we remember that, I want you to see my little friend, right here enjoying the sun. And I thought you might like to see that. That's kind of my personal touch for it. Just enjoying the fun, um, and some of the best gymnastics are cats. That that gymnastics, uh, they can really do stuff, and they always manage to wind up on their feet. And so, if you really want to do that, they can do it. And and then they're good. They know where all the best eating places are too. Um, and then not good with music, but they can do music for a little bit too. All right. So remember this: you are created to excel and not fail. That is your divine potential. God bless you all. I'm going to end the broadcast right now without the music and fanfare. See you soon.